so I'm not 10 hours late. Hello, YouTube. It's me, John Avenger, once again, and welcome to another podcast. This is my first of the spring. Welcome to the spring 2024. And we're starting with a 2009 film, I believe. Yeah, starring Dolph Lundgren and Melissa Malinaro. Command Performance. Yeah, this show could be deadly. 93 minutes long. Let's get started. I know Josh is not going to see this, so it's fine because I know he's not a fan. Let's read this blurb. In August 1991, there was an attempted coup against Soviet President Mikhail Gorbachev by ex-communist military hardliners. The coup failed and all the members arrested. From the ashes of the old Soviet Union, the modern Russian Federation was born. Stock footage. I can mute this. It's just a bunch of stock footage from Russia. No subtitles, because again, a film by Dolph Lundgren. He also directed this movie, right? Yeah, but he's not Russian. He's from Sweden. Yeah, those countries are so corrupt now, especially in 2024. You saw what they did to Ukraine 2 years ago. I'm not going to be political here. This is just a movie. I'm just doing this to be entertained. He played a Russian in, Rocky IV, but he's not Russian. He's Swedish. Completely different. At least they don't invade countries. That guy looks Asian. He doesn't look Russian. Wow. There are some subtitles. It's not the whole movie, though, because Dolph can't speak Russian, and he killed himself. Yeah, so you know where he went. That's a dark opening, yeah. I see why Josh was not crazy about this movie. I think it's decent. It's, Dolph is good in it, and the girl. That's really Moscow, yeah. Melissa Smith. Hristo Shapov. Yeah, there's some Russian actors in the movie, but not all of them. Dave Legeno. Clement von Frankenstein. James Chalk. Mark Coolidge Johnson. In some cases, this movie looks like a documentary. The close-ups look like that Taylor Swift concert movie last year. Music is good. There she is. Wow, she's gorgeous, Josh. Melissa Malinaro. Hey, John, since this movie came out the same year as The Final Destination, I'll say this is better. It is. It's not as downbeat. She's a pop singer. She was in Jersey Shore Shark Attack, which I thought was a guilty pleasure. She's beautiful. Look at her. Look at her, chat. Absolutely stunning. She still looks like that, too. She's kind of underrated. That guy is one hell of a drummer, yeah. I think Dolph learned how to play the drums for this movie. And it doesn't feel like an action movie. It feels like a documentary. Yeah. Ha 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 ha. I don't get Russian humor. I don't, because I'm not Russian. Yeah, because this wasn't even in theaters in the U.S. It was a foreign movie. It was made by a foreigner, and it's mostly... Pamela Anderson. Dolph, I think, is good. He does a good job directing. There's the Kremlin. She's beautiful, man. And she can act in some things, you know? That guy I've seen in some movies too, this Russian guy. Because when I saw Mission Impossible 4, I'm like, Josh, one of my biggest issues with it is that there's too many subtitles in it. Half of the movie is subtitled. Why? Because they think that people want to read. No, we don't. Dead Reckoning had a lot of problems. But reading subtitles is not one of them. Because most of the movies they have to subtitle it. Has dark hair. Wait, Venus? Brother? Her brother is it? Avi Lerner. Yeah, he does Millennium Films. Les Weldon. He produced it. See, they're girls and they're like a pop singer. And she's not messed up in the head like Britney Spears or Katy Perry or something like that. I don't go to a lot of concerts, mainly because they're too long. Story by Dolph Lundgren, so he wrote the story too. He wrote the screenplay and with another guy and directed it. He didn't produce it. Yeah, it's amazing. She doesn't have an accent. Mostly. Because it's not a full Russian production because Dolph is from Sweden and Melissa's from Canada, so no Russian blood in that. It's something different, you know. It's not like the same plot we see in action movies day in and day out. He's an American ambassador. Dusty. I like girls, Josh, and there's all kinds of girls all over the world. But not being American is not going to deal breaker. It depends where they're from and what they sound like. That's the issue with me. It's not your skin color or what you look like. It's what you sound like. The hobo is scary, and you know it. Melissa wouldn't harm a fly. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. $50 million for a singing contract. That's a lot. Even back in 2009. Now that's like what Taylor Swift makes in a year. Thanks, Spidey. What's up? A lot of copyrighted music here. That's why I'm using headphones. You can't hound me this time, YouTube. Last time you gave me a copyright infringement for the what was it for V.R. Wachowski, and there wasn't a lot of sound music in that movie. They just wanted to mess with me. Ice cream looks good. Those little girls are like women now. Yeah, there's some CGI blood, but there's also a lot of gore in this movie. Like it's very, very dark. No comedy to be had in this movie. It's a strong, bloody violence throughout a language. Yeah, not a kids movie. Don't think that this is this is not the Taylor Swift concert movie from last year. This is way more violent. Hmm. Yeah, she looks like Taylor Swift. See from behind, yeah, the Russian Taylor Swift. I'm glad this movie's under 2 hours because I saw so many movies in the winter that took a lot out of me that were over 2 hours long. Last Jedi, Rise of Skywalker, Dune Part Two, The Happiest Millionaire. Yeah, some movies that were way too long, and Snatch and the Departed. Some good movies. It's just some of them needed to be shorter. I'm not doing a podcast for something over 2 hours until like Terminator 2, but I can do that in the summer. It's not a spring movie, it's a summer movie. That movie's a classic, but it's way too long, James Cameron. You don't need to make your movies as long as a miniseries. People are not that interested. What's your last Avatar movie going to be? 7 hours? People don't have that kind of time. I barely have an hour and a half to do a podcast on a day like this. Oh, yeah. Music is banging. And you can't copyright me. Can't hear it. She's so lovely. You saw that breaking on. Sounds like a wrestling theme. They sound like Creed. This would have been a lot of people from the UK pretending to be American. Yeah. At least Dolph, no, he's not American, but he doesn't have an accent that's so thick I can't understand him. He's fine. Banging. The first Terminator was under 2 hours, yet the sequel is 2.5 hours. Why? It's a lot of subplots.
Yeah, you won't. Oh, you won't be caught. Be caught dead in Russia after what they've done. Mm-mm. They're just as guilty as the people that did that caused COVID. Hmm. Oh, this is my kind of woman, Josh. You love white girls. You fly to them like a fly like a bee to honey, or to a flower. I would love to meet her at a Comic Con. Like she just shows up and likes to sign. People don't know, because that's the thing about Comic Con and the one in Manhattan. It's a popularity contest. The ones that are the most popular are the ones that have the biggest lines. That they choose a voice actor or someone they never heard of, and they ain't got no line. Doesn't make any sense. Mm, here she goes, and she's an actual singer, so she's not dubbed over. Mm. She looks like she's a member of the Pussycat Dolls or Fifth Harmony or something. That's a good shot. And this movie's not horrendous like Expendables 3 or Expendables 4. I know that. Mm, mm. She's so beautiful, man. That's right, baby. Oh, a nice voice, yeah. She's not American, Josh, but I don't care. She's a beautiful Canadian girl with Italian descent. Melanaro, that's Italian. Mwah. You kidding me? If Taylor Swift came to Brooklyn at the Barclays Center, I would see it. For your father, revenge. These henchmen are doing this because of the revenge. It's 12:14. We're about 19 minutes in. That's so sexy. I'm not going to complain. At least she has talent, unlike Megan Fox. Molinari's never gotten a Razzie nomination because she's better than Megan Fox. Attractive, and she can act and sing. And she's naturally beautiful without enhancements. Good reference.
Here comes the peanut gang. Would I meet her? I would love to meet her. If she went to Comic Con, why not? Dolph hasn't been to Comic Con. Not here in New York, but he went to the one in San Diego back in the 2000s when Expendables was coming out. That guy looked like James Gunn before he colored his hair white. Oh man, that was a bloody shot. Yeah, if people hear gunshots, of course they're going to run away. Because that's why the Barclays Center doesn't allow weapons of any kind. Only the security guards have the weapons. Run, run. People are not hearing that? Yeah, run. People run. Flee, villagers, flee. Of course, Melissa's going to run. I'm like, look, look. Those are semi-automatic weapons. Those can kill you instantly. I hear gunshots anywhere. I'm going to duck and cover because I want to live. I live in Brooklyn. Of course, there's going to be shooting. They shoot in the air every New Year's Eve. Maybe Josh thought this movie was too dark, and that's fine. But I like that it's different. So what would happen if some psychopathic Russians invaded a Taylor Swift concert? Run. You're not safe. All they were doing was giving a concert to these wonderful people. And what happens? There's an assassination. He was good in Masters of the Universe. Yeah, I still enjoy that movie. It is pretty dark, but like I said, it's not an overly long dark movie. Because Snatch and Lock, Stock, and The Departed is really long and it's dark. Ooh, man, that guy got blown up. And again, this is the kind of violence you saw in Ukraine 2 years ago. Why would they attack their own people? It doesn't make any sense. You see how political people are? They got to shove, their political beliefs in people's faces. I don't do that. I'm not a violent person. I only get violent when I'm provoked. Yep, he killed him with a drumstick, right in the eye. It's like a kill. It's like in Shoot 'Em Up when he sticks a carrot through the guy's head. It's pretty dark, and I get it. And I bet this is traumatizing for people that went through the Aurora shooting in 2012. But that was a movie theater, not a concert hall. Wow, they got bazookas. Man, where did they get these things in the country? This is scary because this could actually happen. That's why this is not, even though it's a work of fiction, you never know. It is dark, but it knows that it is. It's not trying to be a comedy. He got blood all over his face. It's not a miserable experience though, because again, it's short. Dolph knew not to extend this to 2 hours. It's a 90-minute story, not a 2 hour one. Hmm. She does have nice hair. So I was like, oh no, they're scaring women again. This is a dark movie. I forgot to tell him that. This movie makes The Dark Knight look like a kid's movie. Because that movie's, yes, Josh, if they do that in Joker 2, it's gonna be messed up, but they're not gonna do it for the whole movie. He's gonna probably take a swing, but that's it. He's not gonna beat the hell out of her. I mean, if not, the movie will get banned. Because look at Blonde. That movie was not R, it was NC-17 because of how violent and overly graphic the sex was. It wasn't even like, just, normal sex. It was like rape. And I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that in any movie, no matter what. Even Deadpool 3, it's not going to be because it's a comedy. It's going to make people laugh. Rape is not funny. Or sexual assault or hitting. And, and Melissa Malinaro she acts human? No. She does. She's not an alien. She's not a robot. She's human with emotions. It's good to show emotions, Josh. I cried like a little girl last week when I saw the Blissey episode of Pokemon again. I hadn't watched it in years, and it made me cry because it always makes me cry because I'm human. I feel things. Is Deadpool 3 happening? Yes, Spidey is coming out in July. Deadpool and Wolverine. It's hard to hide my emotions. I can't be a stone face. Don't worry, I'm not gonna cry here, even though it's pretty dark. Yeah, like if people were expecting this to be like a comedy, it's not. It's dead serious. 200 casualties. Yikes. Mhm. It's intriguing. I haven't seen the movie in years, so I wanted to rewatch it. Let me check something quick. Okay. Oh yeah, Wonka made me cry. Yeah, it did because it was so emotional. The ending made me cry. Poor people are just traumatized. Look at all those dead bodies, man. All because of somebody's agenda. It's a massacre. Dolph can't believe it because he's not a superhero here. He was just playing the drums and then saw Melissa Monaro, Venus in the movie, singing and dancing, and then all these people got shot for nothing. For a man trying to make a point. He's pretending to be dead. See, it's a flashback. He knows what about loss. Yeah. Nobody collects CDs anymore. This movie is not like Rogue One where it has to have a dark tone that doesn't fit. No, with that movie, a PG-13 tone isn't always going to work. What worked for the Dark Knight is because Batman's a dark character. But like if the Marvels is dark, it would not have been as good because I'm like it would have been too abyss. It would have been, it would be bleak, and that's not what the MCU is about. We want to have laughs. When there's movies that are too dark, you get movies like Eternals where it's joyless. I was bored out of my mind. Or Fantastic Four 2015. Fan Snore Stick, where it's so miserable and misguided that you don't even smile. Even the Ang Lee's Hulk is too serious. Motherland. All this just to make a point. You don't have to assassinate innocent people. That doesn't prove anything. That just proves you're a monster. When you take away a human life in cold blood, it's you're a monster. You're no longer human. Rogue One was one of the worst Star Wars movies, but it's not the worst anymore because I saw Rise. That was just boring and it had no plot. It was just a bunch of fetch quests. Rogue One was just underwhelming. We're about 36 minutes in. Exit. You saw using a little handy cam. I used to have a camera like that I used. I use it. I still use it to watch my videos. She looks like Danielle Harris, the girl, the Russian girl, news girl. That's right, Dolph. Rock the house. See, he uses the instruments as a weapon. That's right. Go Jeff Jarrett on them. You know that a musical instrument can be used as a weapon, right? A pair of you could use a drum set or a stick or a guitar or even a triangle. You could stick that in somebody's face. Yeah, people don't realize how dangerous it was. Anything could be used as a weapon. Anything. This movie's 15 years old and it's aged fine like a wine compared to some action movies that are aged like milk that's been left out in the sun. No, it's too late for him. This guy's gonna he bled out. There's a lot of blood in this movie. That's why you can't go PG-13 with some of the Marvel characters like Deadpool or the Punisher. No, you got to make it violent because that's the characters in the comics. They don't punch and kick people; they slice and shoot people. Yeah, mostly bad people that deserve it. But why was Danielle Harris on Halloween 6? Because she was doing another film. Plus, they aged her character up a lot, so she was not going to be the right age. She was like a teenager when that movie came out in 1996 or 95. She was because she was a little girl in 4 and then and 5. But by the time 6 came out, she was a teenager, so she was too young. They wanted to cast somebody older and kill her off. So Danielle's like, nope, you're not going to kill me off. Yeah. I don't think this was filmed in Russia. I think it was filmed. Some of it was filmed in Canada because it's very clean. Those poor girls. They didn't do anything. They had nothing to do with this. Is this better than Charlie's Angels 2019? Oh yeah, it's not sexist because men and women die in this movie. It's not like there's no dominant gender here. Most of the villains are men. They're all men actually, but it was a 2009 film, guys. See, she shows some humanity. It's something that I miss in films nowadays, where everybody acts too stoic or robotic. They don't act human anymore. If they're not human, I get it, but if they're human beings, act human. It doesn't hurt. It's one of the reasons why people saw Barbie, because even though she's based on a doll, there were real humans behind that movie. There was some humanity in it. It wasn't plastic, even though I didn't see it, but that's right. Yep, he did. See, he brutalizes these guys. Yeah, he dented his head. Also, I know there's not a lot of diversity here, Josh, but it's a movie that takes place in Moscow, Russia. There's no black people there. I'm sorry, unless there's some of those extras. Not every movie needs diversity hires. It could be a movie in some places. Some places need to be accurate. Hmm. I think Caitlin Dever was going to be cast as Barbie. Well, so it would have been nice, but it was originally going to be Amy Schumer, but people hate her for some reason, so they put Margot Robbie. It was a safe bet for them because she had done a franchise before. It just didn't work out because DC was all over the place at that time. At least Warner Brothers, they made the Barbie movie. They self-contained. They didn't have to connect it to a cinematic universe. The Russian president held hostage. Yep. And not everybody had a cell phone in 2009. The kid has a cell phone, a Nokia phone. Canadian, actually, not American. Mm-hmm. £1 billion. I don't know what that means. I guess it's $1 million in American money. Mm-hmm. It is a dark movie. I guess Josh was expecting it to be a comedy hour. It's not. This movie makes The Dark Knight look like a kid's film. Yeah, it does. It does because it's really violent. Dark Knight held back because when they shoot people, there's no blood. They stab people, there's no blood. They hit people, there's barely any blood. It's a PG-13. I think you can show more blood. I know Nolan is not a very violent director, but Denis Villeneuve is. You seen Blade Runner, it was 2049. It was pretty violent. It did not hold back on the violence. Somebody gets shot, you see blood. It's not like, oh, CGI blood. It's they show real blood. The CGI blood looks fake. It looks like a video game. He's from Sweden, not America. Everybody's dead serious in his movies. No time for comedy. He does look like yeah, but he shot him. He shot the camera guy. He should have ran. If they wired the doors too, he would have blown up. They did. They pulled a Die Hard. Mm-hmm. Do you have the Blade Runner? Have you seen Blade Runner? Yes, I've seen the original a lot. I haven't seen the sequel in years. I gotta get it now that Denis made another hit film. Dune is too long, but I get why it's successful. He's right. No, this movie is not a comedy. Dolph was not writing a comedy. Jeez. You think once would be enough. But Dolph has a gun on the front cover, see? There's an interview and there's a behind the scenes fight footage of the movie. Bandits, they're terrorists. That's one of them. 53 minutes in. Hmm. It's a pretty fast paced movie. It doesn't slow down. It doesn't have a lot of padding in it. That's what's good about this over some recent action movies that have come out lately where they pad out the running time. The Russians could have been cut out of John Wick 4, would not have made a difference. It would have made the movie 20 minutes shorter, which is fine with someone like me that can't sit in the theater that long. No movie I'm going to sit in the theater in the spring is going to be that long. Because Ghostbusters I'm seeing it Friday. It's only an hour and 49 minutes, not 2 hours and 49 minutes, which is a huge decrease from Dune because because of the running time. Hmm. Dolph, yeah, he's an ex, he's an ex-con. 6'3". He's a tall man. That's why I became a drummer, because no one wants to hire an ex-con. I know. Here we go. Why is he wasting bullets on the camera? I mean, on those laptops or computers. Wow. They're packing a CRTV. So, a little girl. You're not going to see this in an episode of Really Loud House. Violence towards girls? No. Not going to happen. The closest you get is a pillow fight. You're not going to have guys pointing a gun in their faces and throwing. I know Josh probably was uncomfortable with the movie. I get it. It's not for everybody. This, if you don't like really dark action movies, it's not going to be for you. I can handle it as long as it's not over long. She really does a good performance here. I don't think it's as bad as critics said it was. Yep, vodka right in the mouth. See, I told you this movie's dark. Yep, they killed the American ambassador. Yeah, even the camera guy got like, oh my god. Yeah, this movie has no remorse. It does not hold back. This is the kind of violence you're going to see in Deadpool and Wolverine. It's not going to be for kids. Are you going to count this film as your honorable mentions of 2009? Yeah, I didn't see it in 2009. I actually rented this movie. I think I rented the movie at a video store at like Blockbuster, and then I bought this movie used because I was like, oh, I like this, but it's really, really violent. Like it's not, it does not hold back. This should have been in theaters instead of like Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen, which is way too long and it's padded out and it's just it's a disjointed mess. This movie's an hour shorter and it gets to the point. Check what the weather's going to be like tomorrow. We're an hour in, so it's going to rain tomorrow. Oh yeah, it's even got. It might even snow Sunday again. It's too late for you to snow. It's not winter anymore. It's spring. I don't want snow now. It's too little, too late. We're almost in the month of April, and I don't care about snow anymore until next winter. Hopefully, it'll actually snow more, and not 4 inches and then leave me flat. That's right. Run. Okay, that was kind of funny, but like to break some tension. Yeah, I know seating is limited because when I go see a movie that's a limited release, they always have the seats filled, especially when it's a movie that people have love. I just got eye crust. Look at that face. He's so good. He really commits. And he had to direct and write the script and act all at the same time. Of course, he's going to shoot them. He's the main villain of the movie. Yeah, like I said, John Wick, the violence never bothered me in any of the movies. What bothers me is the long running time that they put from two all the way to four. The first one is pretty short, it's like an hour and 40 minutes. See, that's negotiable. But once you get past 2 hours, I'm like, wrap this up, please. I don't have all day. The Meg 2 wasn't even 2 hours, it was an hour and 48 minutes. And people complain, there's not enough sharks in it. Well, go see Sharknado again. I got my money's worth. People were laughing hysterically in the theater. Does it have to be a drama? No, it's a cartoon. Both the Meg and the Meg 2, and I got both of them. I'm gonna probably do them in the summer somehow. Um, yep, right in the neck. He's killing his own men. When Joker does that, there's no blood, so it kind of loses the impact. He's literally sticking a knife in someone's face, no blood. Again, because it has to puss out because DC doesn't want to show too much violence unless it's an R-rated movie. Yep. Boom. Plus, Dolph was the first Punisher in live action. Him and then Thomas Jane and then the late Ray Stevenson. And then now John Bernthal's most recent Punisher. He looks like a Russian Jason Statham. Yeah. His real name. I was a kid in 1990 to 1992. She gets a hang. They had to put her in the plot in the third act. Red Army. No wonder he can kill people quickly. He's special forces. Yeah, that was the opening, with the stock footage. Send in the Alpha team, yeah. Yeah, this is the third act of the movie. You see, we're almost done. It didn't take that long. It's not a long movie. Doesn't need to be. This movie would have been boring if it was 2 hours and 20 minutes. The draft coming through here. Who knows? Those little girls are just traumatized. At least the editing is well done, mostly. Yep. Yep. Right in the head. Yeah, he was going to defile that little girl. And I'm like, yeah, Josh, I know you're very sensitive to that subject. But again, this is not a kid's movie. Just because there's kids in this movie, teeny bopper girls, does not mean it's a kid's movie. That's why I keep telling parents, I urge them, pay attention to the movies you're taking your kids to. If it's a PG or a G, fine, take them. But PG 13 and R is not meant for your children unless they're adults because they won't understand what's going on. It's going to mess them up. You know, the Batman did not hold back on the violence. They showed violent acts, and there was blood in it, and it was really, really gory. Like for a PG 13, they went pretty far. They pushed the envelope way more than Dark Knight did because it felt real. It didn't feel like a comic book movie. It was like this actually could happen. Remember the thumb drive when the guy's thumb was in there? Yeah, again, and that's a PG 13 movie. The rating systems is a mess when people can't when parents keep taking their kids to R-rated movies they're not supposed to. This is his backstory. The Dolph does a really good. I know they're not messing around. These are it is. This Russian guy is not playing around. He is killing people. He even killed his own men. A patriot. I mean, remember the Invincible? That cartoon is not for kids. There is more blood in that cartoon than any cartoon that I've seen because it's got gore coming out of their face. It is such a violent cartoon. I was not expecting it to be that over the top with the violence, but it is. It's like it is a bloodbath. I hear you. That's right, Dolph. Let him have it. No more poets. That's right. Shoot him. Got him, baby. No, not the records. We're an hour and 18 minutes in. We're almost done. Dude. At least Dolph's character has a sense of humor, even though it's not used a lot because the movie is not a comedy. I've seen parents taking their children to the sausage party. Again, it's not a kids movie. Even Deadpool 3, now they know that it's not a kids film because the first one they brought their kids to it because they said, "Oh, look, it's a Marvel movie. I could take my kids to this." And then they see all this blood, and I'm like, "Yeah, this is not the same MCU where you're gonna. This is not the movie you're gonna get." They didn't show a lot of the violence in the trailer because they want to keep it a secret. I can't wait till that movie comes out in July. It's going to be the new MCU is going to head toward a more serious, more dark, violent road because there's no way it could be a cartoon anymore. It is. He strapped a bomb to a little girl. Again, you think they're going to do that in a movie now in 2024? No. I'm seeing Furiosa to be R rated. If parents take their kids to that saying, "Oh, look, it's going to be like Dune," no, this is going to be way more violent because Mad Max Fury Road was an R rated movie. It was not PG-13. Oh, the last one that was PG-13 was the third movie, Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome. The first two films, Road Warrior and Mad Max and Road Warrior, they're R rated. They're not for kids. This movie has basically the tone of like Captain America: Civil War, where it's really violent. Like it's one of the most violent MCU movies pre-pandemic, and it did not hold back. Got him. She got him. Yeah, again, that's a good line. She said that with conviction. It's a good line. See, this movie does not play around. That's probably why Josh is like, "Oh, it's not a fun action movie. It's actually really dark." Yes, I should have told you that because again, I don't tell you everything. I can't. I don't need to. Sometimes you got to do research. I did. I thought Sausage Party was a Pixar movie. It's not. It's an animated movie for adults, like the South Park movie or um, what else? There was a lot of movies. Even Heavy Metal. It's not for kids. Spear and the water. And also, there's no CGI in this movie. There's no CGI planes, or there's a little bit of CG blood, but it's not. It's very little. It's not a lot. Most of the blood is practical, and it splatters all over the place because they wanted the movie to feel authentic and not like a video game. Yep, he's gonna carve. There's a really very vicious fight at the end. It's like Commando with Arnold. That the fight scene is with knives. It's very brutal. What a bot! What a slam! It grabs my attention. That's for sure. Yes, that's right. You Dolph is a strong dude, man. This is very personal. This fight, I like how vicious it is. This is a fight that should have been in Expendables, not whatever we got last year. That's right, Dolph punches lights out. See, that was a little bit of CG blood, but it's not a lot of it. Because even Deadpool had some CGI blood, but it also had a lot of practical blood that spilled all over the place. Oh, paled. That was a really vicious bite. Right in the chest, man. Right there. He's still moving. No, it's not. Yep, the guy gets the last shot. And that's the movie. The movie's almost over. hmm Finally, a light scene because the movie was so dark. A scene with some brightness to it. The fight scenes in this movie are top notch. Yeah, you can see what's going on. It's really violent. It does not hold back. A Russian star. Yeah, it's really grave danger. He deserves it. If he went through hell, well, Dolph got shot in the arm. I would love Dolph to sign one of my DVDs. Rock and load. He did his job. It's a simple ending. It doesn't have to. It doesn't do what's. It doesn't have a sequel bait. He walks away, and that's the movie. Well, it's almost done. Wow, someone's smiling in this movie. That rarely happens in this film. Nice hug. It's a fun. It's an entertaining movie. It's really dark, but it has a nice. It has a nice, happy ending. She's cute as a button. That was command performance. Still a good movie. I still enjoy it for what it is. I can shut it off here. There's nothing else to do. It's just a recap of one of the songs in the beginning before all hell broke loose. Yeah, it's a very entertaining film. I think Dolph did a good job directing and writing it and acting, and Melissa is good in it. She's really good because she actually acts human. She's not a robot like the puppets in the music industry today. But thanks for watching, guys. Acknowledge me, and I'll see you guys in another podcast in a few days, hopefully. But I recommend watching this at least once. So if you can stream it or find it on DVD, it's worth your time. Thanks for watching.